I'm the artistic director of Open Eye Gallery, and we have an exhibition planned opening on the 7th of December 2013. The title of the exhibition is The Piers from Here, and includes the work of two artists who use photography as their medium, Alvin Baltrop and Gordon Matta-Clark. The exhibition is a retrospective look at a phenomenon which occurred during the 70s and took place in New York, as it happens in many harbor cities. One of the areas which was first affected by the processes of deindustrialization was the dismantling of all of the infrastructure facing the waterfront in relationship to maritime transport. I guess the oil crisis of the 60s really has been the first step towards the abandonment of the piers in New York, and then it consolidated over the 70s. Now we have to think about New York as a very different environment from the one we look at nowadays. So the areas of the equivalent of the Docklands in Liverpool, and that's where Open Eye enters into play. It was pretty much a no man's land. The first people to start reappropriating the area happened to be the gay community and sadomasochistic lovers, in fact. And of course there was petty crimes, there were drug smugglings, there were drug dealing, of course, also sort of criminalities, which interestingly enough, they were associating and disassociating with the gay community, which found in the piers an ideal site for expressing their own sexuality. The two artists invited to present their work in Liverpool, they both engage with the area of the piers by means of their work. Alvin Baltrop is a pure photographer, a street photographer, I guess, black, gay, and he had been documenting for over 10 years all forms of interaction, of human interactions, including sexual intercourse on the piers. Whilst Gordon Matta-Clark, his background was more that of an architect, although he never really became a practicing architect. And he decided to intervene in the same area by means of installation, performance, and sculptural work. Gordon Matta-Clark created an intervention which was both a performance, a sculptural work, and an architectural installation on the piers. The title of the work is Day's End. It was created in 1975. And Gordon described it as a temple of water and light. So basically what he did was perforating, creating cuts on one of the largest buildings on the piers, Pier 52 if I remember well. And he basically enabled natural light to enter into the building, and he cut sections of the floor boarding as well. So he basically enabled the same incidence of light and reflection onto the water to happen indoor inside of that building. Naturally, because of the rotation of the sun, every time of the day and in every season, the reflection and the the play of shadows and lights would have been different. So creating always a different sensorial experience inside of the space. As I was saying, Alvin, who was pretty much disengaged with what Gordon was doing, simply happened to use as a background Day's End in several of his photographs. So the exhibition at Open Eye Gallery starts the journey from Day's End, and then through the set of photographs created by Baltrop with Day's End on the background, enter into the work of Alvin Baltrop. I think that the two artists have a completely different approach to what the gay community which was there at the time. Whilst Gordon was actually more interested in the urban space and the idea on how a space which was stigmatized could have been reclaimed by the overall population, by all of the New Yorkers. Alvin was actually interested in the experience of the gay community there. And in a way, it would have not happened if the other had been taking place. And that's where I think that the notion of gentrification enters into place. The real only inhabitants of the Piers in the 70s, up to the advent of the AIDS crisis in the early 80s, was really, like, as I said, the gay community, which found in that area of abandonment a space for freedom. And instead, Gordon was really trying to bring back that space to everyone. And of course, the moment that it would become a sort of a urban park where children and people from different backgrounds with different interests and different sexual identities, orientations, or preferences, of course, it would have been very, very difficult for the community to express themselves as they did back in time. So I think that they're coming from different backgrounds, but coming from different perspectives. At the same time, they are ingrained one into the other's work in the same processes, as I was saying, of development, reactivation, and regeneration of urban space.